Welcome back to Thursday Thoughts with Jake, a Bourbon Lens production, and we're excited to talk about something that's actually near and dear to my heart as of recently, and most people might not know this. My dad recently had a liver transplant, and this cause and this mission from Enduring Hearts, who we're talking to today, has a lot of the same thing, just around heart transplants. So sit back and buckle in to the latest episode of Thursday Thoughts. Ankur, Stephen, thank you for spending a little bit of time with me, and thank you to your team for reaching out and being willing to set up a conversation and highlight what you all are doing in Georgia for a variety of different families. And so appreciate your time and appreciate, the effort you all are putting into your cause.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, no, we're really excited about this. And there's a big party that's going to happen. But as we talked about a little bit in the pre-show, there's a really serious meaning behind it. And it's easy to go and highlight all the fun stuff that you all are going to be doing and what the connection to me here in Bourbon Land in Kentucky has anything to do with Enduring Hearts. And so, Ankur, you have kind of the elevator pitch here to what is Enduring Hearts and what you all are trying to accomplish for the families that you all are impacting.
I'll do my best. Yes. This organization was started by somebody very close to Stephen and myself. And their daughter had a heart transplant at the age of 3. And what most people don't realize is that a heart transplant is not something that is a guaranteed kind of, lifelong, pass for the condition that caused the heart failure in the first place. There's a lot of risks and challenges and a lot of drugs and everything, as you know, that go into the whole situation. So what Enduring Hearts was started to do was to raise money and fund research, very groundbreaking and pivotal research to extend the lives of kids living with heart transplants, and also to improve the quality of life for them over the course of their lives, and then also offer peace of mind to the families of these children, because these kids, they're dealing with rejection concerns. A lot of times the hearts only last a few years, and then they have to be relisted for another transplant, which is obviously a challenging thing. And in those situations, the survival risks from a second heart transplant are, the survival probability is a lot less. All of this is, all of the reasons why we work so hard for this cause and try to raise as much money as possible for it.
Yeah. And it's crazy how far modern science has gotten us, where we're able to, someone who paid the price, whatever that is, and has passed away, is able to share those organs if harvested right and are effective for these children, for these adults even, that can get a new lease on life. And, that's the hardest part for me too, when I think about this, is we think so much about the patient, but also what happened on the other end of that. There was a tragedy in loss of life. And so that's been the hardest thing I've had to wrestle with as someone who is really close to a transplant patient, is like, you know what, there was somebody on the other end of that when they paid that ultimate price, gave my dad a new lease on life. And I think that's the thing of it, is it's a new lease on life. It's not a guaranteed. It's not, 100% that's going to happen. There's a lot of rigmarole. That's my scientific term to ensure that these patients can accept and their body accepts the organ, and then they can move on. So there's a lot of layers to it that I don't think people really understand.
Yeah, you bring up a really good point. And obviously, it's a terrible thing to think about, but when a child needs a heart, that means that another child and another family of that child just paid that ultimate price that you're talking about. And it is our responsibility as, people who are working with this organization to be able to maximize how gift can be used. So, right, that is, being able to make that gift last the entire lifetime of the recipient is the goal, right?
Yep. So, it's really exciting to see the work, right? Because you all actually have jobs, right? You all are doing other things, but you are passionate about something that not just, it doesn't impact, it could impact you, but it doesn't, right? Today, it does not impact you. It impacted a friend that helped you all start the organization. And then you all are trying to carry on that legacy as much as possible to ensure that people who are in this situation get the opportunity. And I think that's something we don't think about in this culture, right? We're very me centric. And I think it's always awesome to highlight things that are external to ourselves. So now here's the bridge, right? We have this very serious component and we have this bourbon thing, right? And it's like, Jake, how did you get here? So, can you talk to me a little bit about the origins of the Enduring Hearts Gala that you all have put on? Because as you all chuckle, I feel like there's a fun story behind this.
I think, from an origin standpoint, we were trying to think of ways to really separate Enduring Hearts. Every charity has a gala, and they're all the same. They're just boring. I sit down, I have dinner, I have forced conversation. What are we here for? Let me listen to an auctioneer for something. And, I sat down with Encore. I was like, what can we do that's different? And we kind of had these relationships in the whiskey world. And we were like, you know what, let's do something completely different. Let's do something that, makes you want to come. It's unique whiskeys. It's fun. It's actual non-forced conversation. You know, Year one, you could tell it was just me and Encore. It was really just uncut whiskeys and water. No chasers, no Coke.
No tablecloths, no
Yeah.
centerpieces. There was like catering,
We
and
did make
uncut.
sure we had lots of bread. We
Yeah,
did
we
we
had a lot of
did
bread.
we did make sure of that.
It was
But
very,
Stephen, you
very
didn't even
food
say like
centric.
Stephen, you didn't even mention that like the founder of the charities thought it was a terrible idea and said we shouldn't do
Yeah.
it. And yeah,
So, I'm presenting the board and this crazy idea of mixing pediatrics and alcohol, and it wasn't received well, but Encore kind of caped the idea, and he had been, president of the board. And so we got into it with a very small budget year one, and honestly blew it out of the water, did much better than we were anticipating, which meant year two and year three, me and Encore had to figure out how to actually throw an event, get a real sit down dinner. It's teetering that line between how do we keep it with the original mission of keeping this fun and unique while also opening up to a wider audience. And I feel like we've accomplished that. Encore, what are your thoughts?
yeah, we have a lot more. Like I guess we have a lot. There's like a wine pull. There's things for the wives and whatnot, or the husbands who don't drink bourbon. It's just it's not just tailored towards towards the 30 to 45-year-old professional male anymore.
True, but bourbon has started to extend its tentacles out
Yeah.
to a variety of different people, which I think is great. It's no longer, this guy in a stuffy suit smoking a cigar, and just like sipping his whiskey. It's, anyone from 21 to 101, right? Like literally,
Yeah.
everyone has started to truly enjoy American spirit.
And we try to actually offer different things on the tasting menu that appeal to a variety of different palates, right? I mean, we've got the cask strength stuff for for the purists, or the funky stuff for like people who are just maybe a little bored. But we have like the entry level stuff as well that people can get hooked on.
And we've learned not to have a tasting menu of just uncut whiskey because it's not going to end well
Okay.
for anyone.
It's not going to end well. It's not going to wake up well the next morning either.
Yeah, it's a waking up issue.
We've been extremely lucky since year one to get amazing whiskeys, especially for the auction. I mean, since year one, we've auctioned off the entire line of Pappy Van Winkle. We've had Michter's 20 in the auction. We've had some amazing whiskeys, and that's really been the big draw. And honestly, Encore's done a great job of leading the curation of the whiskey list of what you can expect each year. And I think that's been a big draw to the event as well.
Yeah, no, it's always nice when you have a marquee piece, right, that you can put behind it and people that can't find it, right? Like the last time I saw Michter's 20 was in the Louisville airport for $2,900, right? And my buddy's like, should I buy this? I'm like, yes, and put it on Facebook and sell it the next
Yeah.
moment.
So
That's
we've
illegal.
actually
Don't do
raised.
that. Don't do that. It's illegal.
No, you don't do that. So we actually get support from the distilleries and the manufacturers, and it's great because they really see our event as kind of a marquee for this whole kind of segment in the Southeast. And so we've gotten the Michter's 20, multiple years in a row, and it generally, like, I think the peak year, I think it sold for $17,000 at auction, which is, as you are aware, it's a lot higher than MSRP or even secondary.
Yeah, but I mean, still, I mean, 20-year-old whiskey, they put out a very finite amount of it, and it's it's hard. I mean, when Michter's puts out something in particular, they put it out at a very high end, like legendary status, right? It is the ultra premium. It's the same thing with when the Weller Millennial or any of the things that Buffalo Trace does that is ultra premium. There's a reason why it garners so much attention is because one, it's normally beautiful packaging, and two, it's normally exceptional liquid. Now, a lot of people don't ever drink the liquid, unfortunately, but if you got it, drink it. That's my methodology.
I will say the Michter's 20 is the best whiskey I've ever had.
Yeah,
It's what bourbon is supposed to taste like.
yeah, it's pretty impressive what Stocks Joe and team have been able to curate. I have affinity for mixers. One of my best friends from high school is their director of innovation. So big fan of Michter's. And I know you also have a partnership over my shoulder. There's Bardstown Bourbon Company. I know they have been a big supporter of the organization as well. And so, they have an outstanding lineup, and their Origin series for everyday whiskey is absolutely phenomenal. So you can just have them as your well drinks if you wanted to, and you wouldn't be mad.
They actually did a whole different things, and they actually do a pre event VIP tasting for some of the larger donors and some of the really kind of folks who've been very generous to the cause over the years. And it's just it's a great experience. So I mean, all the bourbon manufacturers and distillers and everybody have been very receptive to at least having a conversation with us about. I mean, we've gone through the whole gamut. I mean, we've had a lot of Buffalo Trace product. We've had a lot of Sazerac product. We've had a lot of Michter's and whatnot. But we're just always looking for more and different and ways to diversify.
And I think it speaks to the uniqueness of the event. I mean, I think that the brands have been attracted to, oh, this is a high-end black tie event that is driven strictly by whiskey. And I think that speaks to them.
I think the next level is getting a Enduring Hearts Bourbon Gala barrel pick that, as part of your ticket, elevate it a little bit. You get a bottle of bourbon that is, hand selected by a few people that, maybe do it, going on a raffle the previous year.
That's actually it's an interesting concept. So we do the barrel pick auction. We've done an SBS auction. We actually sold two barrels of Blanton's private
Nice.
pick a couple, yeah, about, I think it was in 2021. And that went really well. We've done Buffalo Trace, we've done Maker's Mark, and Maker's Mark was a really nice experience. We got to see their innovation lab and all that stuff. I mean, it was great. But what you're saying, actually making the bottle a part of the price of admission, that's actually, it's like, instead of like another different kind of favor, that's a favor I think would really go over well. You actually got my creative juices stirring there.
Hey, and that's a great segue, because between now and March 7th of 2026, you got a lot of opportunity to make some things happen as people are looking at buying tickets. You can check the link right below in the show notes and grab your ticket. Even if you're not in Georgia, you can make the short trek. It's an hour flight from Louisville. If you're a Louisville person, you're passionate about this, or you're any one of our listeners. I know Tennessee's big, Georgia's a big market for us. So buy your ticket, because it's not just supporting an opportunity to drink great whiskey, it's also supporting the livelihoods of these families that are dealing with these transplants. And so this year's gala, have you all started to put it together? I know, because I've been working with the team on the back end. What should people expect this year with the gala coming in 2026?
We're going back to our roots, actually. So it's interesting. These events evolve over time, and they kind of change and grow and do different things. And some of the most successful events we ever had were in a particular venue. It's called the Foundry here in Atlanta, and it's got a very rustic, kind of almost like old school distillery or rick house look to it. And I think the atmosphere and the vibe of the actual venue really goes well with the event itself. And I think we're just trying to make sure that we continue to deliver a very high quality experience for everybody.
Uh,
To that end, we're looking to maybe freshen some things up, and like maybe introduce some new things. Stephen and I are always trying to do different things for this event. Like one year we did like we had the whole Blanton's international collection, like all the Japanese versions and whatnot.
Yeah.
And we sold like a separate kind of package where people could come in and try all that. And like different things like that. We try to keep things fresh because we've had people coming to this consistently for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
You
So
know, people travel for it. People mark it on their calendars. It's kind of like their big thing of the year. And, you know, we want it to continue to excite people.
yeah, no, I think that's a great opportunity. I'm thinking of an event here locally that they do, and they sell a private VIP tasting of just rare pours, right? So you can work with your distillers and do like a rare pour tasting, and people love that, right? They love the opportunity to try something that is either funky and old, right? Vintage whiskey is through the roof, like from a consumer standpoint, or they just like to try things that they can't get their hands on normally, whether that is William LaRue Weller, like a BTAC, or maybe the new 15-year 1792 that's going to be on the horizon, right? There's a lot of cool things that are happening. And I just mentioned two Sazerac products. Literally, we just did an episode for the podcast where we talked about all the releases for the last 2 months. There's 21 that we accounted for, 21 new releases in June and July. And we haven't even hit the busy time of the year, August, September, October, where everything will come out. Birthday bourbon, Pappy, Blanton's, whatever they're going to do. Innovation galore is coming. So I think you got a lot of time to figure out, maybe some special opportunities and add-on packaging.
We always think there's a lot of time. It always ends up being not as much time as we thought.
True.
It sneaks up on us every year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got your man going on vacation. He can't focus on this. Got to get it in before he goes on vacation. Got to get all
me and Ankur both thrive on the pressure of having like a tighter window.
As 99% of men do.
Well, you know what? The first year we lost our venue about, less than a month before the actual debut, right?
Wow.
The venue was like, yeah, we got shut down. We're not gonna be able to host your
Ankur, wasn't that your fault?
It might have been.
He shut the first venue down.
Dump. I just heard you go under a bus, man.
It was liquor licensing stuff. We do things by the book.
Yeah. And they didn't have, proper fire permits they didn't have?
They didn't have anything. So we love this. We love the venue, and we were like, okay, we need to do the whiskey license, and we like got all the inspections set up, and then they came and checked them out, and they were like, yeah, you should not only can you not have a liquor license here, you can't even operate your business.
In fairness, one, it was a giant speakeasy and it had that vibe. Two, it's just too much of a speakeasy for a charity.
Yeah. It was too not to be talked about.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Well,
anyway.
no, that's awesome. I'm excited. I'm trying to talk my wife into coming down myself. I think it'd be a great opportunity to see it and experience it. I know what you all have described sounds amazing. And I'm hoping that not just this conversation here, but, in perpetuity, we can find ways to help and support this, because as someone who is going through the throes of this with my father, I think it is a vitally important mission. And with someone with two young kids of my own, you never know what's going to happen, right? They could be healthy today, might not be tomorrow. And that's the reality of life. You try to think more positive than that, but, really appreciate the hard work that you all are putting in. Again, March 7th, 2026, Enduring Hearts Gala. Great pours, great conversation, great food, and hopefully no businesses get shut down this year. Ankur, really appreciate you for the things that you do. But thank you all for joining us and spending some time here this morning on a Friday.
Thank you for having us.